Hey everybody, good morning. Good morning. It is about almost 8:30 in the morning on the 4th of October, 2022. It's a great Tuesday morning here. It's pretty chilly where I'm at. It's about 35, 37 degrees, which is ironic because it was 70, 72 degrees yesterday. So we've got some wild weather changes, but we also have some wild market movements, and as we get into this, I want to give an update on the S&P 500. Just about everybody on the Discord is watching this and keeping an eye on what's happening next. And I want to talk a little bit about what happened on Friday because I haven't gone live since last week. So I want to talk a little bit about what happened on Friday. I want to talk a little bit about what we are doing going into this week. Before I get into any of this, of course, as you all know, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research. And as always, this is just my opinion on the market. So let's go ahead and move on into the chart. All right, so this is what we've got here. I want to talk again a little bit about what happened on Friday, and I want to talk a little bit about yesterday, how we were playing that, and just kind of talking about what our general consensus is moving forward, without giving too much information out to the general public, because we've got a pretty interesting market movement here, and we've been monitoring it very closely. We've been playing it pretty profitably over the last month or so. But at any rate, what it looks to me like we're creating, there's a couple different ways that you can take a look at this. But what we're looking at this right now is this is the bottom of a wave 3, and then we've got a nice little ABC here into wave 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, going into this larger wave 3. And then we've got 5 waves up into the ABC, ABC, so this is an A, B, a 3, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here into wave B. Now again, I said I wanted to talk a little bit about what happened last Friday. So last Friday was really, really quite interesting. So that would have been the 30th. So we opened up right here. It was a pretty grim looking candle. We had a big red candle here, and then it was bought up. So we basically made a red to green move. So we had a little bit of a gap down here, and then we recovered. We got back to the highs. We had a little bit of a pullback, and then we of course went really, really high by 11 o'clock in the morning. We were back up to 36.70. From there, again, as you can take a look at our indicator, we were showing signs that this was going to be the top, and I had been saying for quite some time, we're going to break 3,600, so wait for 3,600 before you start getting long. What ended up probably happening, I'm just making an assumption here, is you probably had a lot of people that were getting into long positions for Friday, and what ended up happening is we rolled over. So anybody who got long up here ended up really getting trapped, and then we rolled over, and anything that was purchased up here is going to be worthless, right, by the end of the day because of what happened. We had a pullback, and we even had some people talking on the Discord like, hey, we got a really good pullback here. This is like a 618 pullback. We should probably be buying, right? We have some support here. We have some support here. We're finding some support here at the 618, the golden zone. Certainly that is one of the highest probability trades that you can make. But if you're going to take a 618 pullback, that's maybe a little bit of education here. If you're going to take a 618 pullback, really you want to have a little bit of support from some other indicator. What I usually look for, something to be oversold on lower time frames. And in this particular case, the green wave, the yellow wave especially, just wasn't there. It was just moving down, and there was no signs of compression at all. So it was right here at about 1:30 in the afternoon. I put out this alert to everybody, basically said, and we were looking at the ES chart at the time. So the ES chart looks a lot different than the SPX chart, but in the ES it looked like we were in a little bit of a wedge. I said, hey, we're generating a lot of chop here, a lot of decay, and I think we're still going to go somewhere between 3,600 and 3,575. Originally, I thought maybe we could go all the way down to 3,500, 3,550, but it was just taking too long, so I didn't think we were going to be going that much lower, at that point in time. And I think, again, I said here, the incoming bounce is going to be a nice one to ride, but don't jump the gun. And we have a bearish view, and I said, if we get above 3750 before this move down, well, then we can start getting bullish. But for right now, it sucks being patient. But we have exercised patience numerous times over the last couple months, and that has been rewarding us by being patient and just waiting for the right time to take a trade. You don't always have to be in a trade. And a lot of times, sometimes the best trade to be in is no trade at all. And that was the case here because, again, we had a lot of people that were talking about, hey, I want to get long. When is the time to get long? And we were talking about getting long right here. And I was like, yeah, no, this isn't the time. We need to wait. We need to wait because I still believe that we are in a wave structure that supports a move down to at least 3,600. And what ended up happening, we came all the way down here. We came down here, found some support here, 3602, 3604, and then what ended up happening, it broke. And once that happened, I've put a little red arrow here. This is when we started buying SPXL. So I said right here, on a break, I'll look to start layering into SPXL, still saying, hey, we're going to probably be going from 3,600 to 3,575. We came all the way down here to about 3,584, 3,583. And I was like, yeah, we need to start buying SPXL. And that's exactly what we did. And we closed that out yesterday for decent profits. We also flipped calls. We got some 3,700 calls, 3,720 calls. We were able to get over 100% on the 3,700s. We took some profit on the 3,720s. It was about 55%. We're still holding some of those overnight because we had a really strong move yesterday. That lends into the thought process that we're probably going to continue. The 3720 was a roll, which means that position was smaller. And so by making over 100% on the 3700s and then shaving some of that position of the 3720, leaving a little bit to go, that trade is now covered because, again, when I take a trade, let's say I put $1,000 into a trade and it goes 100%, right? So that $1,000 potentially turns into $2,000. And then when I roll, I'm not going to put $1,000 into that rolled position. I'm only going to put like $800. I'll size down. So even if that entire position goes away on a trade previously that made over 100%, even if that rolled trade goes away and goes to zero, I still make some money. So that was my thought process on the roll, but that roll has already made 50%, at least for a portion of it that I closed. So now I have even more of a profit if the rest of it does go to zero. So again, that's just the way that I trade options, especially when I'm rolling. Again, you take a full position size initially. If it goes 100%, great. When you do roll, scale down and play with, mostly profits or maybe all profits, depending on what kind of a position that you had. So that way, if that rolled position does go to zero, if the underlying asset, in this case SPX, doesn't continue moving to the upside or the downside if you're playing puts, then you're not going to completely wipe out your account. So again, that's just just a little bit of thoughts on that. But this move up here, we again, what I count here is a 1, 2, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here into the 3. We go down here into the 4, and then we're moving up to a 5 right now. So again, I'm watching this, and I'm looking for a move up to somewhere around 37.50. If I measure this, all right, so let's go ahead and measure this. If this is going to be some kind of an expanded flat, not a running flat, but an expanded flat, because that's what it looks like we're creating here. If we've got this A, we come down here for this B. Okay, so we have a target up here really for an expanded flat up here at about 37.67 to 37.82. So somewhere up here in this area, I'm going to be looking to get into, some put spreads, things like that. I'm not going to talk about strikes or dates here on the YouTube. You'll need to be in the Discord to really know all of that information. But with this move up overnight, we are going to have a little bit of a gap up. Unless things have significantly changed over the last 9.5 minutes, I'm going to be looking to get into some put spreads once we reach up in this area. Couple things that we see up here. All right, first off, we're going to have a little bit of a gap fill, right? So we have a gap fill right here. That's going to be, again, at about 37.57. We also have this high up here to pay attention to. That's also going to provide some resistance as well. And then it just so happens we have the 1618 to 175 extension targets right here, smack dab in the middle of those two support and resistance areas. So this zone right here is where I'm going to be looking to get into some short positions. If you want to know what I'm going to be getting into, well, you know where to find us. And that's probably going to happen in the next day or two. And then from there, again, I do think that we go down, because if you take a look at the wave count, you don't need to see the whole picture to really get the idea. If we do happen to come all the way up here to 37.75, again, that's just a number that I'm using. That's a nice even number. If we go up to 37.75, well, that's going to be the end of wave 4. Again, assuming this is an expanded flat, we have seen running flats, expanded flats. We've seen those a lot over the last several weeks, right? So the same thing right here, wave 3, A, B, C, a little bit of a running flat here, right? So we see these things actually quite a bit. We've been seeing it more and more. And, it's a really good way to fake traders out. Breakout traders can get trapped by doing, something like this. And unfortunately, when I play options, I am a little bit of a breakout trader. So I have gotten trapped a couple times over the last couple of weeks with my day trades. But all in all, my long-term view on the market has stayed intact and has remained nice and solid throughout this entire bear cycle on the cycle that started in the early September. So for the better part of the last month, we've basically been playing the downside. And I'm going to continue doing that for right now. But again, that doesn't change the fact that I did believe we were going to get a bounce. So we got into SPXL right down here on this break. We were patient. It sucked because a lot of traders, they always want to be in a trade, always want to be in the trade. What do I need to be in? Where do I get my money working for me? Well, in this particular case, I said, we need to be patient. Don't get long now, because we're going to get this breakdown. And if we don't, we don't. But I really firmly believe that we were going to get it, and we did, right? So that's, it is what it is. We got that move. We got long here. We had a really big move, yesterday. That was a really great move. That was, 2.5%. That's a really, really big move, a 90 point move on the S&P. And that's even less from where it was at the peak, right? But I still think we're going to see that move up to about 37.75, somewhere in this area, right? Based off of this gap fill, this resistance up here, and the expanded flat target, which is right up there at that 37.67 to 37.82 zone. So again, sometime today, more than likely, based on the way that the charts were looking before I went live, I'm going to be starting to look for that move up here. We'll take a look at ES really quickly here. This is the chart that we were looking at yesterday. So let me go ahead and zoom out a little bit, because again, this is, let me take this out. Okay, so from here, let me remove the 100 and the 123.6 just to clean things up just a little bit here. So this is what I was looking at yesterday, right? So again, we've got this A, B, and then this C is right up here at about 3,800. Now remember that that ES is about 10, 15 points higher than SPX. So this level up here at about 3,800 really makes a lot of sense. So this wave 4, again, we're looking for that to be up here, for this C to be up here. I was originally looking at this as a potential for a running flat and an expanded flat, but it does obviously look like we're getting a little bit of an extension up here. We are getting some exhaustion on the time frame, so we could be seeing, this wave 3 be right here, going in for the little bit of a wave 4 right here, finding some support before we go into that wave 5. So again, just exercising a little patience. Don't get short too fast, right? Don't want to get short too fast. So I'm going to be moving some things around here just a little bit. So just based on this, it looks like the 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, going in for the wave 4, and then up for wave 5. Now, the up to wave 5 may not happen until tomorrow, but I'm going to be looking for some opportunities to get short today. And then, of course, after we get up here to this target, which is, again, right around 3,800 on ES, anywhere between 3,800 and 3,815, that's where I'm going to be looking to get short. You can easily control some of your risk up there at that level as well. If we start breaking, 3,820, 3,825, then you can start looking to maybe cut some of your larger short positions if you'd like. But ultimately, that's kind of what my thought is on the market. So I hope this helped. We've got a lot of viewers on here. I don't see any comments, no questions. More than happy to answer any questions that you have, but I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. If this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, you know the deal. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. If you're a fan of making money, subscribe to the channel. If you don't like making money, then we don't want you here. If you need access to our Discord, you can find all that information at BitDoctor.org, including access to our bi-weekly newsletter, which will be coming out at the end of this week. You can find that at the bottom of the page on BitDoctor.org as well. And last but not least, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, good night, and a good evening. Take care, everyone.